Welcome to Jikoni Magic's Meza. Today I want to share with you how I prepare Ndizi Mbichi na Nyama ya ng'ombe. It's so common to find this dish prepared like this, that is green bananas mixed with beef in Kenya. So I hope that after watching my version that you're going to make it one of your favorite ways of preparing the meal. So these are the green bananas that I used. They're also known as matoke. It's a bunch. There are 11 of them in this bunch. So I kicked off the cooking process by adding about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil to my sufuria, letting it come up to heat, and then to that I added a tablespoon each of black mustard seeds and cumin seeds. Left them to sizzle for about 30 seconds while covered to prevent any accidents from happening, like for example having one of those seeds pop into your eye. Ouch. Painful stuff, I tell you. So after 30 seconds I uncovered, and to that I added finely minced red onion, mixed it in, and to that I added about a tablespoon of curry powder. And once the onion started turning brown at the edges, I added a tablespoon of ginger garlic paste, cooked it for about a minute until it turned fragrant. And that's when I added 2 large tomatoes that I had diced into about half-inch sizes or so. I also added a teaspoon of turmeric powder. I like having turmeric powder in this dish because first of all, it will give the dish a very nice golden yellow color, and secondly, it also imparts that nice earthy flavor to the meal. I also added 1 beef chili cube. You could totally leave it out if you don't like it, or you can use the plain one. So I broke it down, mixed it in, and then I added 1 dry bay leaf. So after this, what I did was reduce the heat, cover, and left the tomatoes to simmer for about 5 minutes until they softened, broke down, and released their juices. And I also mashed the ones that had not completely broken down by using the back end of my spatula. Next, I added beef that was on bone, and I had already pre-boiled it. As you can see, I prefer doing it this way because I also get to keep the stock and use it as I need it. Added freshly cracked black pepper, more potent this way. Mixed everything in, and then at this point it's when I added just enough beef stock to cover the top of the beef and left it to simmer for about 5 minutes so that the beef could infuse with all the flavors that were in the sufuria. So this is how everything looked like after about 5 minutes, and it's when I added the matoke that I had already peeled, washed, and divided into half. I prefer to divide my matoke in half because these huge chunks give me more control when it comes to cooking them. Very small pieces will turn into mush in an instant. After I'd mixed everything in, I added just enough beef stock to cover the top of the matoke but not submerge them completely. Left them to simmer for about 5 to 7 minutes until they just started softening. And that's when I added the carrots. Now I prefer to have this matoke with vegetables that are on the crunchy side. If you prefer your vegetables to be soft with this dish, I would advise that you add your vegetables before you add your matoke to give them a head start. Everyone is different when it comes to the way they prefer their dish to turn out. Okay, so now at this point I also added about 150 ml of coconut cream, and then very gently try to incorporate it into the dish. As you can see, the matoke had really started softening, and I had to be very gentle. And then I covered and left the dish to simmer for about 5 minutes to give the coconut cream enough time to cook and for the carrots to start softening. Next, I added green and red hohos, followed by green garden peas that I had already blanched. I prefer to blanch my peas because this helps them in retaining their very vibrant green color. So again, I am very gently incorporating the vegetables into the dish. Okay, all I wanted at this point was for the green peas to warm through and for the hohos to just start softening. Like I said, I prefer to have crunchy vegetables balancing out the soft matoke. And to enable the vegetables to soften and warm through without the whole dish burning, I added the remaining beef stock, which was not much because as you can see, it just covered the top of the matoke, and that was it. So right now I'm just lifting and trying to get the beef stew to go to the bottom to prevent any burning incidents from happening. Covered and left everything to simmer for about 3 minutes. That to me was enough to warm the peas and to also get the hohos to start softening. The final thing that I added to the entire dish was a bunch of dhania or coriander leaves, and then I turned off the heat and I served it. So some people might ask, Jikoni Magic, what do you accompany your Ndizi Mbichi with? Okay, personally I prefer to have this dish as is because to me this is a very filling dish, but I've seen some people who accompany it with rice or chapati. It's totally your decision. So yeah, the dish at this point was done, and I hope that you're going to give this recipe a try. And as usual, if you do get to try it out, please tag me on any of my social media platforms. I am always glad to hear from you. Until next time, please keep it Jikoni magic. Goodbye.